Hello, everyone. Welcome back to the Brew podcast. My name is David, and I'm with
Manny.
And we're still in the room.
Yeah.
So this is part two.
Yes, take two, not take two, but yeah,
part two or episode 3 of our podcast because
we're trying to keep them a little shorter.
Shorter.
The first one was an hour long, but there was no video. So hey, what else you got to do?
Exactly.
Go for an hour walk. Listen to us.
That's what I did. I listened to you and me just talking about stuff. But you know, I was telling Manny because with the heat wave and everything, and just traffic being so bad, because for those of you who don't know, I have to drive a good hour out of LA to come out to do this.
Yeah. And
with traffic being so bad around like 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock, because it's off the 5 freeway. If you live in LA, you drive on the 5, there's always going to be traffic because there's always construction for some reason. Yeah. I was telling him like we could do like multiple episodes per session. So since we're going to split it up and keep them shorter, we could probably do 2 a week. That way we're ahead and we don't have to come out and meet up as often just in case, you know.
Yeah.
With
plans or
with
something.
Plans, COVID, all this other shit going on. So we're still drinking the same Muddy Paw coffee. Yep. It's still amazing. Delicious. I'm on my 3rd cup already.
Still sweet. I'm on my 2nd.
I feel something.
Oh, man, we're going to be flying tonight.
I know, man. Let's see, what could we talk about today? Actually, where's my phone?
I think you wanted to talk about the haters in the community. That's what we're talking about. How toxic, how toxic the photo community and photo and video community is getting.
All right, so David, at this point, just cut out the previous stuff.
Or you can leave it in. It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, all right.
You got to fill up some time here.
That's true. All right, so to kind of piggyback off of what we were talking about in the last episode, as far as like people just being so obsessed with specs on cameras, I really feel more so in the last, I think, 5 years, especially with the rise of Sony's mirrorless cameras. And this is by no means shitting on Sony or any camera brand, really. It's more, I think, of the users that we're gonna shit on. Sony did a fantastic job listening to their consumer base, the feedback that they were given for their cameras, and that's why they're dominating the market. So they're kind of like the gold standard, if you know, asterisk if you want to debate about it. Comment down below. Let's have a conversation on cameras. Yeah. You know, they're the gold standard for mirrorless. However, I feel a lot of their user base, their fanboys, and I'm not talking about everybody that uses Sony as an asshole or super toxic. I'm specifically talking about the fanboys that say, oh, well, fuck Canon, fuck Nikon, it's all about Sony, me.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like what we do. I mean, we're Canon guys.
Yeah,
but we're just like, fuck Sony, teal and orange, blah, blah, blah.
But the stuff that we present is factual, though. I mean, quick thing. What was that YouTuber's name? Valandis?
Yeah, Valandis.
He did a whole... Okay, for those of you who haven't seen his videos, go watch them.
Yeah, he's great.
They're fantastic. He did one on...
film photography, like the film. I shoot film, you know.
The Canon shooters, the Sony shooters. That's why we got the teal and orange. So he's like, I need more teal and orange. Basically, every every stereotypical thing you could think of for every type of shooter, like Canon shooters, for example. One of my favorite lines in that video was like, "Oh, did you guys watch the new Peter McKinnon video today?"
Yeah,
and I was just like, I feel attacked because I love Peter McKinnon.
I'm gonna blame the toxic community on Peter McKinnon.
How so?
Okay.
Elaborate.
Not okay.
Before
I love you, Peter. I love you, Peter. I watch
I'm
all
pull
your
out
videos.
My knife, bro.
No, what I think it is and a lot of it too is I think just times like the technology's gotten so good, everybody wants a camera, but Peter's videos got so huge. Like I remember when he first came out and they sucked me in right away.
Yeah, they did.
And so I think what happened is I'm not blaming him for the assholes. I'm blaming him for everybody wanting a camera and wanting to like
be
shoot.
Him.
Yeah, everybody
basically
wants to be Peter because he makes dope ass videos. He makes sick ass content, and it's like they see where one guy just took his life, and in 2 years' time, fucking.
3 years now, I think he's been doing it.
Yeah,
but
almost
still.
3 years. Just achieved so much, and he worked his ass off for it. But it's just like I think when you watch those videos, like I want to do that.
Yeah,
and
honestly,
that's how I felt.
That's what got me into video, like those fucking transitions he does.
Yeah, and like, and in all honesty, I wanted to. Like, I'm like, look, I want to start a YouTube channel, or I want to do this. I want to get into more video. I still haven't done it because I fucking suck every time I've tried.
Hey,
and my computer still can't handle it either. So it's just
blows it.
But
it
yeah,
overheats.
like I think a lot of the YouTube community has caused the spike in people buying cameras and trying to do video stuff. But I think the assholes where they come in is like people want to feel like they know what they're talking about, and I feel like they're just like, oh well, this spec sucks, this blah, blah, you don't even know. And it's like when Maddie and like Peter call them out, it's like, dude, do you even use this? Like, bro, do you even lift? You know what I mean? It's
Yeah,
like,
it's just like,
are you even using these specs, or are you just talking shit because you're
'cause you
talking
can.
shit?
you
It's
know,
like
and that's
the
the
internet
thing.
warriors.
And to add to that, so quick story: when Adrian went in my place to go try out the R5 and the R6, there was a Sony shooter there, and this guy was the most like stereotypical Sony like shit talker that he's ever met. And like so much so that the person that was there from Canon was starting to get annoyed because this guy was like, "Oh yeah, I see some grain at like this much ISO." I was like, "Bro, like a little grain's not gonna hurt you."
Yeah.
And it's like, "Oh, but like my Sony comes out clean." It's just like, dude, then why the fuck are you using a Canon lens on your Sony if it's so good?
Yeah.
You know. And that's the thing. It's like, and to be fair, it's not just the Sony users. There's a lot of Canon users that are super toxic, as with Nikon users. I think the only people that are fucking humble are Pentax users.
Yeah.
Because everyone shits on them. but the toxicity over specs is so fucking ridiculous because it's like, look, Canon R5, for example, and A7S3. Two very different cameras. One's for photo, one's for video. That's why one has more megapixels than the other.
Yeah.
One overheats, very subjective argument because it might be firmware, it may not.
Yeah.
But
we don't
know. The world will never know. But people kind of just automatically write the camera off because it has this like one quirk or feature.
Yeah.
And obviously, and even Canon in their user manual says like, yeah, this camera is meant to be more as your B cam, or separate angle, not your main cam in production. You want to use like a cinema camera for that.
Yeah.
But because a camera nowadays has like one feature or some quirk that just it doesn't do a good job in a certain aspect, people just automatically write it off and say, "Oh, it's a bad camera. It's a bad camera." But just like, but there's really no bad cameras. It's really just boils down to your skill level and your use. It's like you got two eyeballs.
Yeah.
This is the important thing that you should worry about, like, because it's gonna boil down to your skill set.
Yeah.
And I remember when I first started really kind of getting out there and making friends with different photographers. This is back like 2014. That was the year where there was a lot of like those like photo meetups and on Instagram. It was like, oh yeah, come hang out with us and we'll shoot like steel wool in the middle of a highway or whatever, and like a super hot model that like you know 20 photographers are trying to photograph
at the same time.
At the same time from the same angle. Yeah, exactly, from the same angle. And that's where I started realizing that the community, the various communities that were popping up with that were kind of toxic because people were just shitting on each other for what brand they were using.
Yeah.
People were buying like 5D Mark IIIs or D750s or D810s just because at the time that was like the best camera that you could buy. It's like, oh yeah, I have a 5D Mark III. I'm like, okay, that doesn't matter. I have a fucking T3i and I could get better photos than you because I know what the rule of thirds and composition is. You know, you're just shooting it because, oh yeah, flex, bro. I got a 5D Mark III.
Yeah, and that's exactly how I felt too when I had my Rebel T6i. I almost was like apologizing for having that camera because it's like I couldn't afford something better. I mean, I got a steal on that camera. It was still $700 at the time, and I found it for like $400 on OfferUp, and it was some college kid who bought the camera. The camera was paid for by the college and everything else like that came with it. And he's just like, yeah, I'm just selling it because I forgot what he needed.
Probably for like a class.
He needed some top ramen or something. So he's just like, yeah, I just, you know, I'm not going to use it anymore. I was going to use it for product photography, but yeah, here you go. Have fun.
Not going to lie. Top ramen in college is the best thing ever.
But it's like, I was almost like, feeling like down, like, oh, I have this shitty camera, like I need this, I need the best gear, I need this. And I started shooting more like concerts and I started meeting other photographers and I'm like looking at what they have, and then I started following other photographers and I'm like, hey, what kind of camera you use? And they tell me and it like blew me away. I'm like, really? I'm like, well, that's not a 5D Mark III that's not a 5D Mark IV, like and I was looking at some of the inexpensive primes they were using, and I'm like, whoa.
Glass is always going to be better than the camera.
Yeah, and I'm like, it was tripping me out to the point that I kind of finally realized that it's not really the camera, it's how you use it and I kind of like had to learn the ins and outs of that camera. Like I finally like mastered that camera, and it got so bad that even when I got the RP, I had like in my head, I need to sell this camera because I'm gonna grab this camera because I know that camera.
Yeah.
So if I don't, sell it right away, I'm gonna
Yeah.
fucking go for that camera and not use this freaking brand new mirrorless
I
camera.
wonder if I'm gonna be like that when I get the R6. Probably not, because I love my RP, and that's the thing to add to what you're saying. When I went to Halama Beach and I got that those Milky Way photos, and I posted it to Instagram, so many people were asking me like, "What camera did you use, bro?" And I'm like, "EOS RP," and they're like, "What the fuck? You did that with the RP?" I'm like, "Yeah, I didn't know the RP was that good." I'm like, "It's because you don't know how to use it.
Yeah.
You're just believing what people will tell you on the internet."
Yeah, and like I always thought like I didn't really understand too like the whole like megapixel thing and
Oh yeah,
I
used to think it was
as
better.
far as like low light goes.
Mhm.
And so when I got rid of the T6i, it's the
Mhm.
same megapixel as the RP.
Mhm.
It's they're 26 megapixel, but it's I didn't really realize that I can bring it down more and get like more low light, but I gotta say that the full frame does help
Yeah.
a lot more than that crop sensor. So
full-
I mean,
full frame
the
all day,
first
man.
the first boudoir shoot I did with the RP, it fucking blew me away.
Yeah, 'cause you
Besides the
get-
fact that it was like crystal fucking clear, it was
Yeah.
sharp as fuck. But just the amount of light that I can bring in on this camera, like I just shot my nephew the other day in the house, and the lighting was a little bit brighter than this room. Not just with the lights that we have on here, but a little bit brighter than what this room is. And I got like it looks like the fucking sun's right on him.
Yeah.
Like it's crazy. It's the one that's on my Instagram right now.
Yeah, I remember I saw it. No, but yeah, it's just like, again, it goes to show you, it's like if you know what you're doing as a photographer or videographer,
Yeah.
then you're going to be able to overcome a lot of the limitations of these cameras. And granted, for video, it's more subjective because it really boils down to your needs. And that's one thing I always tell people. It's like, my
Yeah.
needs are always going to be different than your needs. If you feel like you need 4K, 120 frames a second, IBIS, and all this other stuff, then go get the Sony A7S III or a Sony or whatever.
Yeah.
But if you're like me, does primarily photography, video second, any of the Canons are gonna be fine.
Yeah.
Just stop talking shit about the camera.
It's just it's the whole
It's like you're so focused on the equipment that you're forgetting how to shoot.
Yeah, and it's all like internet warriors. I mean,
Yeah,
you look
dude.
at like a lot of social media, it's just people talking shit just
That's
to
all they
talk
do,
shit.
man.
Or everybody wants to feel like they know
But they
know
don't.
more than the other person.
But
And
they
it's
don't.
like just use the shit that you have. Whatever camera you have, use it to the best you can. Learn the fucking ins and outs of it, and when you outgrow it, get the next one up.
and that's what I did. Like, for example, with the with the R6 and the EOS R, I had the R for about a year, shot that thing to death. I absolutely love that camera, and I miss it. But the R6 has everything that I want as far as where I want to take my career and evolution as a creative. Like, I want to start doing more videos, so obviously IBIS is going to help. The full frame 4K is going to help. 120 frames is going to help for like the really buttery smooth slow motion. Dual card slots for professional setting if I'm shooting weddings or events, so that'll be handy. So yeah, I kind of outgrew the EOS R, so that's why I got the R6, and I decided to pull the trigger and upgrade. You don't have to go out and buy the latest and greatest camera today. Again, your needs are different than my needs and Manny's needs and the needs of a lot of the YouTubers that you see. And going back to how you were saying about how like Peter kind of like brought this, really sucked you in with his.
You really didn't bring the assholes, Peter. I was joking.
Well, you get what I mean.
Yeah.
The reason he blew up is because he focused so much on the narrative and on the story. But the thing that a lot of people don't know about him is that he used to work for this company called Illusionist selling playing cards.
Yeah.
And actually, I think he used
It's
to have
all
his
like
own
magic tricks.
Yeah,
and
he had
stuff
his.
like that.
I think he had his own deck, which I should probably see if I can find them on eBay because I want to collect those because they look cool. Anyways, side tangent. But he focused a lot on the cinematography and the storytelling. That's why his videos blew up.
Yeah.
And the reason why he is where he is because prior to YouTube, he worked at Illusionist as their cinematographer for God knows how many years.
Yeah.
So what we're seeing, current day Peter, is the result of
Years
Peter
of
from like let's say
practice.
6-7 years ago from just shooting videos day in and day out
Yeah.
So over time, it's like you go to the gym. The more you lift and work out, the stronger you're gonna get, the healthier you're gonna feel.
Hmm.
And so when you're finally, at the weight and the body shape that you want, like
Hmm.
you have your muscles and everything, that's a result of let's say a year's worth of work.
Yeah.
So, but people think they're gonna get it overnight,
Yeah.
and then that's not the case. It's like where I'm at right now with my photography. That's taken me 8 years to get there,
Yeah,
and
same here.
and
I
I've
think
shot
we've
with a
been
number
shooting
of
about the same
yeah,
amount of
and I've
time.
shot with a number of different cameras, and uh, again, the cameras over the course of my career that I've used have made my job a little bit easier because each one would have certain features that the other one wouldn't, but
Hmm.
because my needs change. But at the end of the day, what's gonna get me through a shoot is my skill,
Yeah.
not the camera. The camera again is a tool. It's like, are you gonna really worry about what hammer you're using, or are you gonna just use a hammer to hammer something?
Yeah.
So it's just like use the tools that are best suited for the type of job
Hmm.
and rely on your skills to get you through that job.
Yeah. I think it's crazy too, because like people will ask me, because they know I shoot and stuff. They're like, "Hey, I really want to get a camera. What camera should I get?" And I always straight up ask them, "Well, what do you want? Like, what
Yeah.
do you want the camera for?" Like, one of my buddies, he's like, "Oh, I'm not really like tech savvy. I don't like really have a computer, but I want something because I'm having a kid. I want to do video. I want to
Yeah.
do maybe pictures." I'm like, "Get an iPhone. You know what I
Yeah.
mean?
Or like or a point and
Get
shoot camera.
yeah, get an iPhone for now and work with that. And then once you get a computer, because you're gonna want to dump the video somewhere eventually. I mean, the technology's so good right now. Like
Yeah, it is.
if I had an iPhone freaking
11 Pro Max.
yeah, back when
I
my daughter was born,
love
I
that
would have
camera.
had so many pictures and videos of her. Like, I
Hmm.
mean, I have some, but there's just the quality is like crap compared to what you can get now. It's like,
Dude,
man,
it's
I would have had
unreal.
so much. Like,
And here's the thing: some of the photos that I post on me, actually, well, my entire Instagram, which used to be Canon Dude, which is now Delo Visuals,
hmm.
started with my iPhone 10s Max because that was
Yeah,
the second camera I had. Back then, I
yeah,
only had the R. I didn't have an extra camera, so I was like, I'm gonna shoot photos of my camera using my camera phone, and it blew up because the photos were so good.
yeah.
Obviously I shot raw because I use an app to shoot raw, and
Hmm.
then editing also played a role in it, and also people sharing the content.
Yeah.
But that's all you really need to start.
Yeah, that's how I started. Like I was telling you,
Yeah.
was the first podcast. Like I was just on the road and I wanted the camera, and like the phone's probably the best way to really learn because you learn
Mm-hmm.
composition. Like you're seeing what's on that screen, and you can learn what you want in certain sections. And if you learn composition and you learn how to work your phone's lighting, because most people probably still don't know that you can slide the amount of light coming in.
Yeah,
Like
exactly.
you can figure it out, and then just throw it
Mess
in an
with it.
editing program and boost or take away whatever you want to boost or take away, and you're good to go.
No,
So
definitely, and it's just like again, like it goes back to the whole saying. It's like it's just a tool. If you
yeah.
know what you're doing, if you're an experienced photographer and you're using an iPhone to take photos
Hmm.
and you're getting good results, it's because you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
You're just using the tool that you have with you, which fits in your pocket. I mean, what's
Yeah.
more convenient than that? Like that's how that was my gateway to photography.
Yeah.
I think that was the gateway for photography for a lot of people.
Hmm.
You know, But at the end of the day, just stop talking so much shit about the camera and just use your fucking camera.
Yeah.
Go out and shoot, use your shit, and then get good and then talk shit.
So our message to you is shut the fuck up and just do it.
Just do it.
Just
Do it.
do it.
Do it. Fulfill your destiny.
Or you can just insert a clip of Shia LaBeouf going, "Do it."
I could do that too.
Yeah, we can. I don't
Or
know.
actually, I'll just use Palpatine just because Star
Yeah.
Wars. It's Star Wars, man.
Yeah. We're Star Wars nerds. I don't know
Yeah,
if
I love
anybody of you
I love
guys
Star
know that.
Wars.
So
Except it's,
that's
I,
that's like
will,
the third thing besides coffee and cameras. We love Star Wars.
I love Star Wars. Except I didn't like the sequels though. But that's different argument for a different time.
Wait, which sequels?
Star Wars Disney sequels.
The Disney ones?
Yeah.
Really?
I did
actually
not
like
like
them.
them.
I actually like them better than the Lucas sequels.
I'm gonna stab you.
But I want to say it's mainly because of the way I feel like they were shot. I think Lucas did way too much digital, and the
Mhm.
Disney ones they did a little
More
bit
practical.
of both. Yeah, they did a little bit of both,
Yeah.
which gave it that grainy, that old look that the originals had. So I think
Honestly, I think the best. Again, we'll go back to photography real quick. I think the best Disney thing that we've gotten from Star Wars is the Mandalorian,
Mhm.
because that is just The cinematography was fantastic. The writing was great. The
Yeah.
characters were great. Like, I think it was just a culmination of all the stuff that they've learned over
Uh,
the years. Still don't like the sequels. I prefer watching The Mandalorian
yeah.
and even the prequels. Like, I think seeing the sequels made me appreciate the prequels a lot more. Like, I always liked the
Mhm.
prequels, but it's like I had a much better appreciation for them now. I was like, oh yeah,
Yeah.
you guys aren't as bad as everyone says you
Well,
are.
I like them. It's just I think they were too polished for me.
Yeah,
I feel like
I,
they
I,
could
I
have
agree.
grained them up a little bit more, made them look a little bit more
I
to
mean, the
like
whole thing was
match.
green screen, dude.
Yeah, it's
Like I,
like
I would watch some of the BTS on it, and it's just like, oh man, it's like that must have been hard to shoot
yeah.
because you don't really like as the actors, like you don't really know where things are gonna go. Yeah, because all that stuff is post.
So
But
we're gonna have
anyways,
to add some lightsabers in the photo brew logo when it's done.
we should do it. But anyways, back to going back to the photography aspect. But yeah, it's just like you don't have to stress so much about like what camera brand you're using. Just go out and shoot. Like,
Yeah.
you know, I have friends that shoot Nikon and they fucking love it. I have like I'm friends with Jason Vong, for
Mhm.
example, and he is the unofficial poster boy for Sony, in my opinion. I think
Mhm.
Sony should give him money for it because he talks about those cameras a lot, and his videos are fucking fantastic.
Yeah.
But he doesn't talk crap about like Canon or Nikon.
Yeah.
He's like, yeah, like I use this because this is what I prefer.
Yeah. This is the tool that I like
Exactly, and
using.
it's like that's his preference. And
Yeah.
you look at people like Peter McKinnon, his preference is Canon.
Yeah. Same
Maddie,
here.
I
Like,
have no idea because I feel like Maddie just got like, you know, like he tried weed for the first time and he's like, yo, I like this because he really liked that Sony.
Yeah, I mean, that kind of blew me away because I thought Maddie was Canon, but also Maddie's like, he's kind of used a little bit of everything, and his
Yeah.
brother's kind of the same way. It's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
tool thing, but I feel like Maddie was probably more Canon.
Yeah.
And now all of a sudden,
I know
it's just
Potato
like,
Jet recently just switched to the Sony
Yeah.
for his vlogs.
I actually thought Potato Jet was using Sony before
he has
because most of the time he's using his cinema cameras.
Yeah.
So
I mean, yeah, he has cinema cameras, so it's like technically that's gonna supersede anything you're gonna get out of like a
Yeah.
mirrorless camera like this because the features are a lot better, the image is a lot better. But for a lot of the stuff that he's doing with his vlog channel,
Mhm.
the Sony kind of checks all the boxes for him because he's a
Yeah.
video first person. You know, if and that's the thing too. It's like you got to ask yourself: are you a photographer
Yeah.
first, video second, or are you a videographer first,
Yeah.
photographer second? Because then that's also gonna kind of like help guide you in regards of what kind of equipment
Mhm.
and camera you're gonna buy. You know, and the thing is, it's like a lot of the stuff that we see on YouTube. Everyone there is typically a cinematographer first,
Yeah.
photographer second. You know, some people are the opposite. Like Peter's a good example. He's a
Mhm.
photographer first. I think who else do I know that's a photographer? Alan Palander.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
He's a photographer first. Chris Howe, I think he's a bit of both.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, it just gonna boil down to like what is your first priority? Is it
Yeah.
photography or video? For me, it's always gonna be photography because that's what I learned first.
Yeah.
Video, I'm starting to get the hang of. Maybe in like 5 to 10 years time that might change.
Mm-hmm.
But my camera choice is always going to be a camera that does photography pretty well because I typically get booked more for photography versus video.
It's like you seen the Becky and Chris video where she
Oh,
was
yeah.
she was talking about how she had two separate cameras. One was for
Mhm.
photography, one was for video. But now because of the fact that a lot of their stuff is on the Sony system, like
Mhm.
most of their video Sony system, she kind of just wanted to
Have the one system.
find an all-in-one like system, all-in-one camera. So that's why kind of she gave up her
Yeah.
well, it's to her dad now. So but yeah, she's just like I'm
She's
sure she'll
like, I
still
love her
use
vi-
it, but she just
yeah.
doesn't want to. She doesn't want to carry too much, and I
her,
don't
her
blame
videos
them.
are so good, man.
Yeah, especially if they're taking helicopter rides. Like, how much gear do you want to freaking carry?
Dude, I can't imagine what it's like to like, yeah, I own a helicopter. I was like,
Yeah. What was the Grand Canyon video where he was flying through it?
Yeah,
Yeah, that
that-
fucking video was awesome.
Dude,
I couldn't imagine just experiencing that.
yeah, I mean, but yeah, you know, and that's a valid point too. It's like she switched systems because that checked all the boxes for her.
Yeah.
You know, so again, stop talking so much shit about who uses what camera. Just use your camera and then buy the equipment that is going to suit your needs because at the end of the day, your needs are going to be different than somebody else's.
Yeah, and if you're somebody who has a camera and you feel bad for owning that piece of equipment and thinking that you need this or you need that because you're watching these videos or you're hearing like people talk shit about this camera
Yeah.
on forums, just use what you have, master it, and then upgrade from there. Like,
make money first and then buy better
yeah, and I
equipment
mean,
later.
do your own homework. Don't listen to any haters. Don't listen to what's out there because they're all just tools. And like,
Yeah.
I feel like, especially with like that hater community, everyone's like, "Oh, the R5's it's gonna kill Sony. It's gonna be such a badass camera." And then all of a sudden, everyone's like, "There it is. There's the fucking cripple right there.
The cripple
You know, what I
hammer.
mean? There's the fucking cripple right there. Fuck you, Canon." And it's like
And
they
it's
just wanted to hate Canon for something, and
They-
it's
yeah,
like
they-
they even announced that it was overheating from the get go.
Yeah, it's like, and they were transparent about it too. So it's
Yeah.
like, give them props for that. But yeah, it's like I feel like they were just looking for something to knock on Canon. But you know, I think the takeaway you could take away from this is, you know, just really focus on what your needs are as a creative. Buy the equipment that is going to fulfill those needs
Yeah.
and satisfy them. That's going to help you grow as a cinematographer or photographer. And just don't worry about the gear anymore. Just go and shoot.
Yeah.
Like that. I think that's all you really need. Doggy.
I wonder if that's in here, but yeah, my dog's barking right
Yeah.
now.
But yeah, so I think with that, thank you guys so much for watching. Hit that like button, subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
And then there's a couple other ones that's going to
We'll-
be
we'll
on.
announce
We'll
it.
link it once we
Yeah.
figure out what the hell it's on. They're putting it out on
Yeah.
everything right now. So
But thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you guys next
Yeah.
time. Bye.
thank you.